like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in the cage, I'ma let out the wake up, get out the sheets. We came from our mouth, forget my peace. You take the west side, take on the east.
At Zoe and Jenna, the only surviving couple from your season of Maths. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you've just celebrated your year anniversary. What has the last 12 months been like for you?
Absolutely mental. I don't know, it doesn't even feel like we were on the show, to be honest, does it? It just feels like we're living our normal life now. We just happened to meet on Tinder or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you look, it's that mind-blowing to kind of look back on that you're just normal people that have been thrown into this whirlwind. Like it just doesn't feel real.
No.
I think when you kind of start getting recognised and stuff and people kind of they're like weird around you. It's still.
I've literally had it today, and it's been not over a year for the public, but over a year for us.
Yeah.
And someone was just like, "Oh my God, it's you!" Like, can I get a picture? And you're just still like, "What? Why?" Yeah. I'm just going about my business, like doing my day-to-day thing. Like, we don't feel like we are celebrities or anything like that.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking for a photo today, and I'm in a heart out at work. Like it's literally like you're just a normal person, but people think that you're this crazy celebrity, but you're not.
But I think that's what's good about Married at First Sight in general is it is just normal people, or it tends to be just normal people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And people can relate to you a lot more when you are just being yourself on TV. And I think that's why it was really important for them to have obviously their first ever lesbian couple on the show.
Being the first ever lesbian couple, I mean, that must have been quite a big step for you.
Yeah, I think
it came with a bit of pressure, didn't it, really?
Yeah.
Because you feel like, okay, you want to represent well, and, you know, like, I hope people do, like, take to us and like us, but really, once you get in the process, you don't think about stuff like that. You're just kind of focusing on the day-to-day and your relationship. And I think that people seeing us for who we genuinely are, because we were just ourselves, weren't we?
Yeah.
I think that was what was needed.
Yeah, I think that you feel an element of pressure before you go. I definitely felt a massive, overwhelming amount of pressure of being first lesbians because there's not enough representation, especially like, obviously, I think like butcher lesbians definitely aren't. They're not on TV, they aren't, there isn't enough representation. And I was aware that I was going to be given a platform. And I think that you are overthinking how to utilise that platform to do something good. When really, just us being in a happy, healthy relationship, I think is utilising that platform enough to kind of set an example that there are just normal lesbian couples out there.
And that is unusual, isn't it? It's so unusual to see happy and healthy represented when it comes to gay relationships on the TV.
Exactly.
What do you think the experts got right that you two weren't getting right for yourself on the outside?
I think we both have said that if we were to have gone on a first date outside of the experiment, like say we had just met on a dating app, I don't think we would have gone on a second date or a third date, would we?
Oh, never said that.
Yes, you have. We both said it, right? This ain't just me. Because we're not that different. Once we get to know each other, we know that we've got a lot of similarities and our values and our morals are very similar and our sense of humour and all that kind of stuff. But that's what you learn with time. But at first, like, all Zoe would have seen was a vegan, and I would have seen someone who's like closed-minded, like, how do you not know what a vegan is? So I think that would have been like the end of it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I definitely would have swiped to the way she's a vegan, 100%.
Yeah, Zoe's the type of person that would have had no vegans.
I would have had a little circle and then the plant emoji.
Yeah.
100%. I wouldn't have. Because I just thought, it's just a pain.
One of my favourite parts of the entire series was the eggs when you found out.
I feel like that's going to be on my grave because I will never live. I must have had maybe over 1,000 messages, that's no exaggeration, of just people commenting eggs. Just like saying things about eggs or can she have eggs yet, do you know? Or
you reminded me of the little boy off Home Alone, he goes like this. I don't know if anyone's made that connection yet, but we need to see this meme.
Yeah. But it was genuinely, because I didn't know what a vegan was genuinely. So I think when it was the realisation, and it was late, and it was just the realisation that she can't have eggs, and then all the wonderful things that eggs go into.
But do you know what is funny now? And this is how far like we've come and Zoe's come, and that is, like now, if we're around someone who's completely clueless, who says like really just like, you know, like, what, you can't have goat's cheese? Like Zoe's now like, Bloody idiot. Like, so now Zoe's judging people that don't know what vegans are. So, you know, she's come a long way.
I have come a long way.
You even did veganuary.
I did
So,
veganuary.
How did that go?
It was hard.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was just going to be like getting your head around the diet, but the impact it has on you. Like, I was tired, and like the impact it has on your body, and how good I felt at the end of the month. To then go back to eating. I mean, I did push through and go back to meat and dairy.
yeah, you felt tired for the first week, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you felt a bit off, but then after that, you felt loads better.
Like training harder, I was more alert. Like so many, it impacted me like
In a
beyond my
positive
imagination. Yeah, in a positive way. So when I got to the end of the month, I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? So it took some pushing, but I got there, and I'm back to meat.
But we have like, you know, the food delivery services now, and we always just get vegan, don't we? So that's, you do eat a lot more. I'd say you're more 50-50.
I would say 50-50 now, probably 50% vegan. Like when was the last time I had meat in the house?
Yeah, we don't really have meat, and you started drinking oat milk before you even tried veganuary.
Yeah,
so lots of changes.
Flexitarian, apparently it's called.
Flexitarian, I like that. I mean, in the show, it was such a big deal. Did you feel like that was in the editing, or was it that much of a big deal for you?
It wasn't that much of a big deal. So like, you know, I'm not going to say that the editing did the dirty. A lot of people have said that.
You say what you say.
I said. You know, and from my perspective, it wasn't just about Jenna being a vegan. It was about her lifestyle. So she's an eco-warrior. She doesn't like any plastic. She doesn't want to buy any high street shops. She wants like zero waste. And the more she told me about it, the more I thought, holy shit, how are our two lives gonna mold together when I am not the most eco-friendly person? So
you are more so than your
I
average
am.
person, actually.
But at the time, it was, I didn't know how she lived. I thought it was in my head, it was a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, how are our lives going to merge?
Which I think, again, is like a snap judgment that a lot of people make in society. Like, you're kind of tarred with the brush of being like a vegan.
Yeah.
Like a militant vegan as soon as someone hears that word, rather than them just getting to know you. And I think that's why the process was important, us really pushing through these little things. Sorry, going back to your last question of like, we got over the vegan thing, we got over these little hurdles because we had the experts there giving us advice, and we were there because we genuinely wanted to meet someone, and we kind of put our hopes and our, like, I don't know, what do you call it? We put our trust in the process.
Yeah,
so we didn't give up so easily when we did hit hurdles, because I think we were a real representation of what a relationship is really like.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day, like, that if you start dating somebody and then like eventually you go back to the house and then you see how they live, you know what their job is, you know a lot about, based on their friends, their family that you meet, based on where they live, how they live. You haven't got any of that. You've never met their friends or their family. You don't know how they live. So when you go on the honeymoon, you know, are they messy? And you try, they'll leave some stuff out. Like Jenna was a bit messy on the honeymoon, I remember, and I was thinking, oh, holy shit, she's really messy.
That messy.
No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. You wasn't that messy.
I was definitely above average.
Yeah, you wasn't that messy. But in my head, I was thinking, she's going to be really messy. What am I going to do? But she wasn't messy at all. But you're reading into everything because you don't know. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because you haven't got friends or family or a house that you're trying to suss out who somebody is by their movements.
And you make
based
assumptions.
on nothing. Yeah. So then the vegan thing, obviously, eventually they kept talking about it, kept bringing it up. We had one argument about it.
They do push.
Yeah.
They do push for certain conversations. So as soon as they knew that the vegan thing was a bit of a sticking point for us, they would constantly ask the same kind of questions, or ask it in a roundabout way to try and get us to...
Yeah.
They didn't want us, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what their
probably
intentions were. They wanted the drama of the vegan things, and they got it.
Yeah.
But then in the end, Zoe ran after them, didn't you?
We had one argument and they'd really pushed for it. And I was like, and then we left, we weren't talking. I was like, right. And then I went out the apartment and they got in the lift and I was like, that's enough now. Don't ask about the vegan thing again. And they were like, and then I was like, don't mention the vegan word again. And to be fair, they didn't, did they?
And then after that, we just...
That was it.
Got stronger, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other real thing that you had, which, I mean, for a lesbian relationship, very unusual, you didn't want to move in together straight away. Normally we cross continents, right? After 3 weeks.
Need together, but no.
Yeah, we were kind of backwards in that sense. But I think you've got a bit of trauma when it comes to living with partners, haven't you?
Yeah.
From past relationships. Yeah. I was very ready. This whole thing, I was just like putting my all into it, and I was very ready to move in with somebody.
So how did you resolve it? Where do you live now?
I pretty much live at Zoe's.
She just doesn't live there, but she lives there.
Oh, yeah.
She's just like manipulated me into thinking that she doesn't live there. She has to be home since Christmas.
Start acting like this is my idea. She's been reeling me in, all right? She's been slowly, she's like, oh, we'll just do this to the garden. Oh, we'll just get a hot tub. She's like, but this isn't like permanent. This is just like a, we'll have this house for a year or so and then we'll move. No, she's getting that place a home to keep me there forever. That's what she's doing.
I bought a house and then I was like, if I do this house up nice enough, Jenna won't want to leave and then she'll move in and then I won't have to move to Blackpool. She'll just move to Stafford and my life won't change.
And this is what's happening.
And it's worked.
And we spend all the time with your family and they're all lovely.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
Oat milk and a hot tub. You've got the secret.
No, life is good, isn't it? Life is good. Yeah.
Very happy.
It was really important to you for, gay representation, to come on and do well as a couple. But the only other gay couple on there was a bit of animosity there. Yeah. And we know since the show, you've obviously fallen out with Thomas. He said some things about you and your dad. Yeah. How is that now for you?
I don't think about it, to be honest. It's not something that kind of consumes my thoughts. I think you all kind of drift apart afterwards. Like, there's a little period where you all keep in touch and all that kind of stuff, but after a while, you're just getting on with your normal lives and going back to your normal jobs, and we're just living our life, aren't we, in Stafford? And it's nice to see some people, but the people that I'm not bothered about seeing, it's very easy to just keep a distance. You just don't follow them, block them, done.
That's it, yeah. I don't think there's any. I think Adrian and Thomas, at one point they were planning on meeting up and stuff, and I think, Laura, did a story not long ago saying that there was a bit of that I didn't invite Tom to party so she didn't come, and I'm just like, I couldn't give a shit. If you want to be friends with who you want to be friends with, you be friends with them. We're choosing not to be friends with that person, that's okay, but you do whatever you want to do.
It also feels a little bit like people will jump on the back of a story, they'll cling on to anything just to be relevant and to stay in the press. In my personal opinion. Sorry, a little bit of a burn there. But I think, not naming any names, but I just think sometimes there's just no need for these comments. And it's I don't get involved in anything, do I? I just live my life. I don't really speak to many people from the experiment. So why I then go online and read stuff about me that's being said, I'm just like, why is there any need for that? It's because, I don't know, I guess they want a story. Yeah. So.
Is there anybody that you are still friends with?
Yeah, lots of people. Yeah.
Keisha, especially Jordan.
We love Jordan, yeah.
Shanita, Sophie, Adrian, Jess,
PJ, Duka.
So there's a lot of people that we still are friends with.
Yeah.
But you don't see them very often.
No,
do you?
and to be fair, there's not really anyone that I'm not friends with Matt, obviously, because he's a massive. But Whitney, for example. So it was a year since we all met, not long ago, so I had a housewarming, I had a house party. I just thought, just invite everybody to come round. But Tom and Matt, I would say, really are the only ones
people who we wouldn't.
That I have no interest in really talking to.
And I think for, very legitimate reasons.
Yeah, but it's not like, it's not a kind of thing that I'm like, oh, they're not invited, but you're invited. It's just like, well, I don't want to see you.
To everyone, wasn't it?
That's it. Well, it wasn't it?
Well, not everyone, because there was, drama between certain couples that there was no way they could have been in the same room. So then we had to be like, okay, this person could come this time, we could invite the other person the next time. But Whitney, she was lovely, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Whitney was fine.
We've gone off topic.
Yeah, sorry.
Talking shit.
How much?
This is because of being nonchalant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How much of your lives changed since, or do you feel like you've completely gone back to normal? Because you talked about having a platform. Do you feel responsibility outside of the show now to continue with that a bit?
Yeah, I think especially Zoe's very happy, aren't you, with your life and your job and everything like that. Whereas there's a lot of things that I'm kind of passionate about that I like to speak on, whether it's veganism or sustainability, and obviously LGBTQ plus like issues, but I don't feel like we both use our platform to its full capability. I think we're both too chill. Like, we don't post enough, do we?
I think there's obviously room to be able to do stuff, but I feel like some there's an opportunity to maybe abuse your platform, and I think that's in some cases that has happened.
Yeah.
And I think that we could potentially utilise our platform more.
Yeah.
And I think there is room to do that, and we will do that. But for now, you know, I think I just love going to work and coming home and watching the series on TV. I don't the events and stuff that everyone goes to. I like just doing nothing.
I think we're just quite selective. So, for instance, like interviews like this, we're very eager to do this, and that's why I made the effort to do this. But a lot of the events and things you get invited to, they might not mean anything to you, so you just have to. We're quite picky, aren't we?
What did you learn that you could pass on to other people, maybe other people in the LGBTQ plus community, about maybe, you said before about mistakes you were making when you were dating. What is transferable? Because obviously people on the outside won't have the experts around. What would you say that you learned?
I think for me, just being more open-minded. I think, well, if I'm going off what people kind of message me about, it's usually people that are coming out later in life, because not that I'm that old, like I'm 34 now, but I came out when I was like 27. But I felt at the time like that was really old to come out. And I've had so many messages from older women being like, I'm dating a woman for the first time, and I feel like the happiest I've ever felt, and it's so nice. And a lot of them say it's because they've watched the show and they've seen the representation and how, you know, a lesbian relationship can be very happy and healthy. And I think that we've kind of done the work in that way because of just from being on the show.
Yeah.
But I think, just trying to be as open and
just comfortable, innit?
Yeah.
Comfortable in like however you want to dress, however you want to be, whatever you want to do. Just being comfortable in being different.
Yeah, as long as you're safe.
So I think, like, you know, there's a stereotype around women to dress and act in a certain way, and I've never been like that ever. I was born different, and I think that that's okay. And I think that now we're in a time where it's okay to be different, so you should just embrace that. So I'm hoping that that's what's kind of transferred. I actually had a lot of moms messaging me that their daughters were gay, and it was more about how their daughter, like, it's made them understand their daughters more, which is really nice, because like, imagine your mom, I don't know, it's just that, so maybe that's a...
Yeah, I think a lot of it has been either parents being able to accept their children coming out as gay, and I just think coming from this and our experience, we just need to see more of it on TV.
Yeah.
Like, we need more people like us who are just normal people on TV, whether it be, I don't know, there's not that many shows where people are just being themselves, there is there, but maybe like presenters or something. There needs to be more people from the queer community represented on TV, and not just in the way that the media kind of wants to show them off.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you first saw each other, what did you think?
Oh, I was gutted.
She's a fucker.
Whenever anyone watches it, they're all like, oh, you can see your reaction. Obviously, I was just, you know...
Yeah. I was literally looking at that picture the other day, actually. Well, it was because we've just had our year anniversary, so I was looking back at the pictures for the first time since we had them originally. And it was nice to see your reaction, actually.
Yeah, it was a good reaction.
Like, it did just look like your relief.
What did you do for your first anniversary? How did you celebrate?
It was my job to... Zoe did Valentine's Day, so I did our anniversary. And what did I do, Zoe? Go on.
We went to Dishoom in Manchester.
Yeah, we just
nice.
went to Manchester for a night.
So I don't remember that then, because I was just...
Well done.
Yes. We went to Dishoom, and then we went to a bar in Manchester.
Yeah, we just went around Manchester and we stayed in a nice hotel. It was lovely.
Lovely.
Very nice.
What's next for you both, personally and professionally?
Well, I'm moving my business. I've closed my shop in Blackpool, but I'm going to move it more online. And do we mention the podcast?
Potentially going to have a podcast. I think that's what we're going to do at the moment. So
Any
together.
subject that will be on?
I think it will just be, you know, how we annoy each other.
Yeah.
Just our relationship as a
There's
whole.
always something every week that is rather amusing, to be honest, and we laugh about it.
Yeah.
But or we're very irritated about it.
Yeah.
But I think that would be hilarious to voice. Maybe I think we'll have a few different segments in it. So we need to figure it out, don't we? But we're having a meeting about that next week, so we'll see how that goes.
And I think I'm going to do, my mum works for a non-profit organisation. I think I'm going to start raising money for that this year and next year. Hopefully when I get some of the other people involved, like Jordan and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just trying to work out how I'm going to do that, but that'll be the next project for me.
And do you need to get remarried, or are you officially legally married, or is that like what happens next?
We're not officially legally married.
But it'll do, isn't it? That?
Do you know what? She does this when we're around other people and cameras, right? But really, she's like, oh, Jenna, I love you. When are we getting married?
I think we'll have to get married officially, eventually, won't we?
Yeah, we will. One day.
One day.
But I'm not allowed to propose. Zoe wants to propose.
Yeah, that'd be weird. That would be so odd.
No, it wouldn't.
I'd definitely say no.
I might just do it.
No, do not. Because I'll be furious, because I feel like you might, and you might think it's romantic, and I'll be like, honestly, I meant it when I said please don't.
I do want to be proposed to, so we will.
Perfect. Okay.
No cameras this time.
No cameras.
No cameras. No.
No.
We'll just have some nice pictures and we'll share them on Instagram.
Lovely.
Done.
Just one of your hand like that, like standard one.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. That was brilliant.
Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary guy, let